Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. If you can see, I'm in the nice weather outside doing the show. One thing about it is great doing this show because we doing it after a win. Last week, everybody thought they would lose. So our mission this week, if we choose to accept it, is to show you there's not a lot of difference between a 2-0 team and an 0-2 team. We'll be back in a minute. Dean, take us out.
What are you doing?
Sarah, I love you and...
No, it's my brother. Keep going.
Sarah, were you married?
What do you want, Todd?
Keep it going! If you sit on your phone, you butt dial people. It's what you do.
Todd!
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
I know we just met like 2 months ago.
You can see the depth of this football team, really. You know, guys stepped up. Dunbar made a big play. Obviously, Sua came in and made a big play. And a lot of guys contributed, you know, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So it was fun to watch these guys. You know, we had many reasons and many times that we could have hung our head and said, here we go again in 2016. But these guys kept fighting and got the win. That's all that matters.
Let's talk a little offense. We always begin with offense. Kirk Cousins, 21 for 35, 296 yards, 2 TDs, but no INTs. That's what makes it big. But one thing we are beginning to see, we still do not run the ball the way we need to run that ball. So what I want to ask you guys, what is it? Schematically, are we doing the right thing? Should it be different runs? Should it be more running backs, fewer running backs? It's the wrong running back in. We don't know those questions, but my panel this week, you got to answer it for us, guys. What is it?
Tony, you make a good point. For years and years, the Washington Redskins' bread and butter has been the running game. But there was some flash of brilliance toward the end of the game, and I think it was because they moved Trent Williams into guard. Is that going to be the future, Donna?
Well, let's just say, Mike, because of some injuries, he was moved into guard, and it may be the same thing this week. But the Redskins got off to a slow start running the ball in the first 2 quarters, but they got up comfortably enough that they were able to punch it in and run that ball a little bit more. And I think that was the success in the second half, is being able to run that ball. Matt Jones really looked good in the second half.
Okay, Jamison
Gary,
Crowder.
they ran the ball. Yes.
Jamison Crowder.
You hear what he's saying now, though, right?
Wide receivers. You know, there are so many weapons on this team, you can't even get it to Pierre Garçon. I mean, it's an amazing tandem of receivers there, isn't it?
Problem to have.
It is.
Problem to have. And Crowder is doing an excellent job. I mean, he keeps this up. They could have a Pro Bowl year.
Why haven't we seen more screens, Gary? We saw screens yesterday, sort of to offset the offense.
We've seen them. We saw success after it.
Okay.
That's the kid that they've been throwing the screens,
Okay.
of course. But Jamison came out, and when you score, now all of a sudden you pay attention to it. When it doesn't work as well, you don't pay as much attention to it. But when it works, it stands out.
He's got speed, too.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that one run, the 50-yard run, where he kind of like got the ball, cut back through, and it was off to the races?
You mean a receiver running like he's a running back? Because we kind of do it all? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not what I meant.
Adam, what about the running game? I mean, all of a sudden it just showed up in the fourth quarter when they had to eat some time off the clock. Why did it work then?
Well, you know, it's interesting because Matt Jones reminds me an awful lot of Marshawn Lynch. Now, keep in mind, that's somebody that Scott McGloin acquired when he was with the Seahawks, and he said he has a strong resemblance to him. And Matt Jones is a physical running back. And when he gets downhill, he's very tough to stop. The key with him is making sure he holds on to the ball.
Mike, but you look at this game, and your offensive linemen go down, 2 of them, and then Trent has to go to guard. you almost look like, oh man, this game is going to fall apart because they started off with a turnover to start the game and then the Giants score. But the offensive line, the way they still play together, shows a little depth. And they created some penalties early on, but it was kind of like great for them to finish the way they did, losing 2 linemen.
You think anybody could run behind Trent Williams and Ty Nsekhe? I sort of heard something floating out there that once Trent lined up at guard, the tackles were going, oh gosh, look what's coming. I mean, don't you think anybody could run behind
Even well, no, Donna couldn't.
Now you know so.
No, I
create
agree.
my own.
They do a great job, and quite honestly, the offense is putting up points every week. I mean, they have. If you score 25+ points, you're supposed to win the football game. It's just kind of what it is, and they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about it. They're only going to get better because once we do score touchdowns in the red area on a more consistent basis, then we're a really, really great team. But we're already a good offense. The offense is doing good.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting down in the red zone. They're just not putting it in the end zone. Is there a solution for that? Newer plays, newer things?
Well, to me, I think you have to run the ball.
Right.
Then you have to use Jordan Reed as much as you can. You might have to switch your schemes up a little bit. Try to get his hands on the ball in the end zone. He's the best tight end in the NFC by far, and only I think Rob Gronkowski is better. So he's got to be a factor no matter what's going on.
Why aren't the fade routes working, Donna? Come on. How many fade routes in the last 4, 5 fade routes in the last 2 weeks?
How about not do that play anymore because it hasn't worked? But you know what? I disagree. They finally got the passing game going. They went downfield. They had the 44-yard, the 51. So they opened up the offense a little bit more. Kurt looked a little more comfortable and everything, and a lot of the receivers got involved in the game. But I mean, they kind of like look pretty good.
Talking about timing routes, last week, we only have a minute or so left, but last week Coach Gruden's actually said that on those fade routes that Kirk threw the ball a little flat and maybe a little late. Is it all about timing? Is it about a flat pass as opposed to an arc? What?
I guess a lot of it, too, is about how the defensive back is playing me as well.
Okay.
If he's going to play in front of me, then I'm going to throw back shoulder on that fade route. That's what it's going to be. I'm going to throw back shoulder on the fade route. That way, typically, they can never be right. If you play behind me, I'm going to throw it out there. If you're playing in front of me, then I'm going to throw it back shoulder. So it's just a matter of the receiver and the quarterback getting on the same page, I believe.
All right, we're going to take a break. Tony's going to fill us in on the defense and how they played. I hope he has some good words for them because they're giving up an awful lot of yards, over 400 again last Sunday. We'll be right back.
That's a lot.
The game had everything in it that took place. But could you just talk about offensively what you all did on offense and fighting by keeping, scratching?
I mean, you just look at all the people we lost this game, man. We lost our starting center, our starting left guard. I moved Trent into left guard. You know, you lost D-Hall, we lost Breland, and then we moved Dunbar in, and it's just, when you look at this when it's a team win, you know, everybody came and did their part, special teams, you know, Crowder had that big punt return, Dunbar had that big reception on the fake punt, and so in every field of the game, man, we played as a team.
I seen Corey go down, I seen Spence taking off his glove, I'm like, all right, Spence going to center. I seen Ty coming in, I'm like, all right, we got a really tall left guard, but we're going to make it work.
What, man?
He gave me the finger like, hey, you got guard. I'm like, hold on, what you mean? I was walking over to the sideline, asked Coach, he's like, yeah, man, you got to take it. Freak. I only got 30 seconds to think about it. You know, I just had to go with the flow. You know, it's one win. We still got more losses than we do victories, so, you know, we're not putting our crowns on just yet. You know, but it's definitely a good spark, something the team needed. You know, definitely helped us out with confidence. You know, it sucks we lost so many people to injury, but you know, this is the next man up league. Guys got to come out and you know, step up. And, you know, I'm glad we can do it. You know, with the suddenness of a game, all the stuff happening, you know, so quick. But you know, the week of preparation is going to be a little different.
With this type of game and the way it played out, what did you learn about this team and these guys today that you're now on a team with? What did you learn about this group?
We got it in us. Yeah, we got it in us. We were fighters. Fighters to the end, man. Scrapping, savagery, as they call it. Just greedy. All the way down to the ball and the gristle. Just fight, fight, fight. Nobody got down. Nobody, on each other's back and shoulders like, gosh, man, why we do this? No, man, we kept fighting, we kept pushing. We kept going through, like, the obstacles that was in front of us, man. And it was just awesome to, experience that, man, within that setting. And those, I can't say enough about it, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad to be able to watch the Redskins. I'm glad to be here, be able to lead guys, and they be able to lead me as well. We all in this thing together, and we can do something great. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
It's huge. It's a divisional game. Can't go 1-2 in the division. Definitely can't go 1-3 on the season. And the way that we won the game, it just means so much more. The way that we won it, it came down to the last minute. You don't play football for blowouts. You play football for games like that. And thank God we got the win.
Did you guys make more adjustments in game this game?
I think we made about the same amount of adjustments that we win in the first 2 weeks. But I think we did a better job at just executing the game plan today. And it was time for us to make a big play on defense, especially. And was able to make some really big plays in the second half.
Now we're talking about the defense a little bit. D'Angelo Hall hurt. Hope is not long. He's a leader of that team. Breland hurt. High ankle sprain. Sometimes that take a while. He's young. Maybe he'll get back very quickly. Now look at the defense overall. Chris Baker had a very good game. I tell you what, he was in the quarterback's face, got a sack, played the run well. But you got to look at number 93, Trent Murphy. This guy can play. He rushes the passer, he plays the run. This defense overall played better. They will need to play even better against Cleveland.
Tony, you make a good point. I mean, who's going to fill in for D'Angelo Hall? Who's going to fill in for Bashaw Breeland? The only person that probably knows, because she was in the locker room yesterday, is Donna Hopkins. Who's filling in?
Hey, the young guys might stepped it up. Blackman, Dunbar. I mean, what's his name?
Dunbar was impressive.
36?
Mm-hmm.
All of those guys came and played. They each had turnovers, big plays at crucial times. But you look at the Giants, 3 turnovers, 11 penalties. Anytime you got that, you're not going to win games. But the young guys stepped it up. And as Gary, I hate to say this, but he always says that when you get your opportunity to play, make it count. And those guys made it count.
Last year they were so lean and mean along that line when all those secondary players got hurt. You gotta at least congratulate the Redskins for having added Greg Toller and, of course, Quentin coming back from last year. But also, don't forget, they drafted a kid I'm really high on, and that's Kendall Fuller, who played really well in the preseason at cornerback. So I think they're going to be okay there. I do worry about safety. I definitely worry about safety, Gary.
Well, I mean, I'm a big D. Hall fan. I know Donna's up and down with D. Hall, but I'm a big D. Hall fan. So anytime you lose a player like D. Hall, I'm going to be a little concerned. His leadership, his ability to make plays, he'll come out and knock the crap out of you as well. But the person came in, they made plays when D. Hall went down. The young man had an opportunity to come in and now be like, now it's my time to come in and it's time for me to shine. And that's what it takes, It's no excuse for a professional football player when you get your shot not to come in and play.
And it shows depth that they've got in that secondary.
I think, McLuhan did a great job in adding those players.
Great.
I mean, they saw what happened last year, and they thought maybe in the playoffs they would have gone a little deeper had they had a little bit more secondary help. I have to ask you about this because you did the research. Gary Barnidge. Apparently a tight end that can really make a difference in a game, underrated 79 passes, 1,043 yards last year. The Redskins don't play those tight ends very well, especially over the middle.
Their pass defense right now is below par.
Yeah.
If they don't contain him, it could be a long afternoon against the Browns. I know the Browns are winless, they're 0-3, but don't come in here and give them any hope. That's what the Giants did, and it cost them.
And you are concerned, Mike, a little bit, like Gary and I was talking off camera, is that they did give up a lot of yards passing the ball because they were going up and down the field. But them creating those turnovers helped them, and them being able to stop the run also They gave up a lot of yardage in that passing game.
They made the play when they had to, and that's important. At the end of the day, they needed that turnover to win the football game, and they got it. And that's success. But teams should not score more than 17 points. It's just what it is. You should not score more than 17 points. They have to start doing that.
One thing I'm concerned about, and this has happened over many years for the Redskins, they have relied way too much on their defense to win games for them. We get into situations where you have a 2-point lead or a 3-point lead. The defense has to keep them out of the end zone or they lose. That has to stop.
Isn't that their job?
Well,
isn't that their job?
It is, Donna. It is, Donna. But offensively, you want to try to control the clock better. You want to get into a position where you have a chance to wear the other team down.
Didn't they say defense wins championships?
You know, they do, but the better teams don't do that.
You have to stop. The team should not score more than 17 points. That's the first rule of football. Everybody knows it. It's really simple. Offense scores 18 points or more, you're supposed to win the football game. Defense is supposed to score 17 points or less. That's just what it is. It's been that way for forever since I was Pee-wee. It's going to continue to be that way. You cannot give up that many points, period. You just can't.
Tony McGee knows pass rush, and he made a comment just a minute ago about moving Trent Murphy inside and what a difference that has made, and that's helped even Ryan Kerrigan. That's helped the pass rush overall. That kind of pressure. Baker had a great game. I'm sorry, but I think Trent Murphy helps Baker. I think he gets more than 6 or 7 sacks this year. I want to ask you about the middle, though. That's where all the run defense is breaking down. You've got Mason Foster and you have Will Compton. They are heady players with talent, but they're not the fastest guys in the world. But you've got this kid they drafted, Martell Spate, who's back, and Sua Cravens is playing more in the middle. Do you see more of them instead of the old guys?
Isn't it almost like filling the gap in those areas right there? And Tony talks about being pushed around and everything. They've got to start being aggressive, pushing them as far as closing some of those gaps. And there's some breakdowns there as far as just communicating. I think that's where it comes down to.
All right, special teams is next. We're going to talk about one of the best performances the Washington Redskins have had in recent memory on special teams.
My brother.
Tress Way can play quarterback. We'll be right back.
He can.
Marco Polo! Marco Polo! Marco Polo! Marco Polo! Marco
Sì.
Polo! Marco Polo!
Scusa,
Polo!
ma io sono Marco Polo, ma...
Playing Marco Polo with Marco Polo? Surprising.
Ragazzini, io sono Marco Polo. Sì, sono qui.
What's not surprising? How much money Amanda and Keith saved by switching to Geico.
Ah, Polo? Polo?
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Polo?
Hey, Dustin, day today, I mean, you really put your work in.
It was a fun one. Just a game with so many ups and downs. To be a part of it, a part of a team win. So many good plays on special teams. The fake, the return. So many good plays on offense and defense. So to be a part of a whole team victory is really nice.
How special is this with all the twists and turns and everything that happened in this game, and to come away with a win like you all did?
Yeah, it's a good feeling getting the first one under your belt. Just because it's a monkey hanging over your back, But to get the first one, hopefully we can get a rhythm work in. We go back home, be in front of a home crowd, and and hopefully get a couple in a row.
Have you ever had to kick that much in one game?
That was the first time I've had, the first time in the NFL I've had 5 attempts. I had a couple 5 attempts games in college, but that's been a while. So it was a fun one just to get that under your belt.
I knew we was going to run the play. We practiced it all week. Jake Gruden, he already told me we're going to run this play at some point, time in the game. Trust me, believe me, you know I'm going to make the play. So when the opportunity presented itself, I just went out there and made the play.
How much fun was it to go back to your receiver days?
Oh, yeah, definitely brought back memories. I mean, it was pretty cool.
I'll give you 3 names on special team. Crowder, big return. Finally got that we need. Hopkins, 5 for 5 on your field goals. You can't beat that. Tress Way, turn into a quarterback. Instead of punting, he passed. All of those was key to the victory over the Giants. That's what we need on special teams each and every week. 3 facets to a team: offense, defense, and special teams. And on Sunday, these guys, as well as the other guys, were special.
Tony, you summed it up beautifully. The special teams played better than I've seen them in a dozen years. But the question everybody's asking, Gary, was this a phase of the New York Moon, or are we going to see special teams really stellar again this week?
Well, I hope it's going to be stellar again, but I'll take just the phase, quite honestly, because we hadn't had that in a while. So bravo to those guys. I think they're going to come back and they're going to do it again. You need big plays on special teams at some point in time during the course of the season. Multiple big plays. We haven't seen things like that since Brian Mitchell. Yeah. You know, so it's important that they continue to do that.
And the Crowder thing, I wanted to ask you, you were right there with your binoculars. Was that downfield blocking, or was that all Crowder?
Or you're just watching his butt with the binoculars?
Was that downfield blocking?
Well, no, it was just the fact that they came out of nowhere at this point in the game, and they said they had been practicing that all last week. So Tressway looks like a quarterback. I mean, he throws the perfect pass, 31 yards, and Gary has to appreciate this. Dunbar came back around and caught the ball because it was a little underthrown. Yeah. But it was almost like a great play overall, and that was at a crucial time in the game.
Well, Adam, we got about 20 seconds left, but Crowder now only his 2nd year. All of a sudden, he's breaking out. Is he going to be a valid and bona fide punt returner?
Well, sometimes all a player needs is a spark. Okay. You need a big play to gain some confidence, and confidence goes a long way. I think this could be a coming out party for him.
Oh, Mike, you got to mention Dustin Hopkins, my brother.
5 for 5
field goals.
We're not going to tell you what his record is for the season. We do not want to jinx the young man. We'll be right back.
Check this out, bro. What's that, Broheem? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance? Yeah, Professor, and more, like renter's insurance. More ways to save. Nice, Brotato Chip. That's not all, Protein Shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance, too. Ooh, that's a lot more. Oh, yeah. I'm all about more Teddy Roosevelt.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Okay, high school seniors, don't forget the scholarship contest. The essay topic is identify a societal problem and how you would remedy it. And if indeed you are selected as one of the winning essays, there will be 8 laptops in the offing.
This week's stat of the week is the Browns have not beaten the Redskins since October 3rd, 2004.
It's the Studio's Black and White Affair on First Friday, October 7th. Finally, a great place to mingle and dance in Northern Virginia. A night of great music, food, and dancing. A huge dance floor and great DJs. Arrive early for hand dance classes. First Friday's Black and White Affair is all your favorite R&B, old school, and hand-in-line dancing, all rolled into one great evening. Great people, good times, and plenty of well-lit free parking. See why we are Dulles, Virginia's best-kept secret. Visit eventbrite.com for tickets and information, or our website. It's First Fridays at the Studio.
I'm going to tell you what, when we talk about Game of the Weeks, if you look back over the past 3 weeks, I don't think I have missed one. Talking about the Minister of Information. Gary Clark, you just trying to be what I'm doing. But at the same time, I got a game this week, Carolina at Atlanta. Atlanta is trying to find themselves. Carolina has stumbled somewhat, but they're still a very good team. So what you have to look at, Carolina on the road will beat Atlanta.
This week, I've got Oakland traveling to Baltimore. Now, when you look at the Ravens, this is not the same Ravens team of old, and neither is it for the Raiders. Now, despite their 3-0 start, the Ravens still need to jumpstart this ship. in so many areas. Joe Flacco with 3 slow starts, and Harbaugh said that they've got to do a better job of running the ball. Now, Oakland at 2-1, they are an up-and-coming team. They've got a young quarterback in his second year in Derek Carr. He's the real deal. But they're having the same problems as the Ravens in running the ball, despite having 2 good running backs. But you look at them on defense, they have problems in the secondary, but up front, their front 7 is strong. They've got a great defensive end in Mack and a linebacker in Irvin. So I'm going out on the limb. Sorry, Baltimore fans, I'm picking the Raiders.
So this week, we have the Jets at home against the Seahawks. This matchup is clearly one-sided. The Jets are in disarray. They got blown out against Kansas City. They don't play defense. The Seahawks, whether Russell Wilson is 100% or not, they are clearly the better team, hands down, even if the Seahawks are on the road. I give the Jets little to no chance on Sunday against the Seahawks. Pick Seattle big.
Now we have Kansas City traveling to Pittsburgh. Last week, the Guru was wrong with Pittsburgh. This week, the Guru will be right with Pittsburgh. Kansas City has a good football team. They have a great coach. But Pittsburgh, they have Ben the Rock. That's why I said Ben the Rock. I ain't changing one thing about it. Ben the Rock. Pittsburgh will win. They will crucify Kansas City because they really want to make sure that I'm never wrong again. That's the reason that they will win.
Each and every year on the Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus show, we try to bring you something new. This year, we bring you introduction to a new show that will be on will contain females that know a lot about sports and everything else in life. For an introduction to that show, which will begin next year, here's Donna Hopkins.
Thanks, Tony. You know, there's a new show starting called TMI, Too Much Information. And you know what? It's an all-female panel. Yes, all female. They are very knowledgeable about all kinds of sports. They're going to be talking about everything, personal and professional. Even a segment called What's Hot and What's Not. And one thing's for sure, this show is going to be hot. Mike?
That's hard to follow. But you know, we lost one of the great legends of the golfing game this week with Arnold Palmer's passing. In my mind, he was my idol, and we will miss him. All right, in the Sports Bar Challenge this week, we have Kansas City at Pittsburgh, Crystal City Restaurant. They're picking the Chiefs, they're 1-2. Crystal City Sports Pub, 2-1. Picking the Steelers, Greavy's Restaurant, 2-1. Picking the Steelers, Outback Steakhouse, 0-3. Picking the Steelers, Hard Times Cafe of Fairfax, 0-3. Picking the Steelers. And Harry's Ale House of Fredericksburg, 0-3. They're picking the Steelers. Take a look at the picks this week. Gary Clark is winning. We love you.
For now, it's early.
Boom.
And now to Tony to wrap it up. Tony, what do you got?
Now we close with our tip. The tip to the team this week and to your players, Cleveland is 0-3. They lost a close game last week. You won a close game. You play them. They are professionals. Play it like you mean it. Play each and every play hard and win the game. Be 2-0. Now for Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus, we look for you next week, hopefully after win. And we never say goodbye, we just say in the minute.